This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
I want this to be in the style of tenor, but heaven he'll find Daft Punk. I want this to be in the style of tenor, but heaven is my Daft Punk. Don't you want to die some big simulation? Now I know that we are all just digital information. A fake world for the taking. I'm looking at the news and it's kinda hard to watch it. The universe is way too big.
Following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you so know it, and so do I. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today's Thursday, November the 6th of 2025, day 310th of the year, and only 55 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Oh, yes, that's how it goes. We start talking right away about things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that is the way that it happens. Anyway, so let's start talking right away. Thank you for coming back. If you've been here before, if you have not, let's talk about what the hell we do around here. We talk about safety in the news and safety. That's kind of the rigmarole of what we do here on the show. So don't worry, we're going to take you through the multi of everything, because it just makes life easier as we are going through everything that we get to talk about. So that's how that works. And then, at some point, as we bring in some professional broadcasters, they talk about what the hell's going on. We turn around and then we'll do a version of a main story and then move forward. Simple process. If you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com. Go there, audio, video, text messaging, audio, video, text messaging. Did I tell you that it's audio, video, text messaging, that it gives you the options to do? If I haven't made that clear, let's say it again. Audio, video, text messaging are the options once you get there. And that's it. Gives me a little prompter on the screen, and then we get moving. Our show is a 3-hour show. Only hour one's on video. We also record this first hour into a podcast setting, so don't worry about that. We call that the Rated R Safety Show. Hour 2 and 3 are referred to as the Jay Allen of the Morning Show, and we broadcast those directly on radiobig.fm. If you are not hanging out there and you stay after the show and stay on Safety FM, you'll be hanging out with the likes of Sheldon Primus, as he'll talk about the world of safety consulting. So there's a whole plethora of stuff going on. We're also available on iHeartRadio, Odyssey app, and our streaming apps, Safety FM app and the Radio Big app. So there, you got some options on how you can see us, and that's not even counting all the stuff that we get to do on other aspects such as social media, as we try to broadcast those in pretty much real time as well. So a lot of stuff going on inside of the multi, as always, as we're talking and hanging and doing and everything along those lines. So that's it. That's the show in kind of a a package with a bow. It's kind of the way that ends up working. So with that being said, why don't we start doing this? I have my friends that are waiting there from Feature Story News wanting to talk to you about what the hell's going on inside of the multiverse. So if you're ready to go, I'm ready to go. We'll get them all started and chilladdling, going, full bore here in regards of what's going on. So let's go ahead and get that started right now with the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News, I'm Rebecca Bundan in Mumbai. The US Supreme Court appeared skeptical of President Donald Trump's power to unilaterally impose tariffs during a 3-hour hearing. It comes after Trump used a law designed for national emergencies to justify his sweeping economic agenda. Nick Harper reports from the Supreme Court in Washington, D.C.
The hearing at the Supreme Court could prove pivotal to Donald Trump's entire economic agenda during his second term. The arguments before the justices revolved around whether the president has the legal authority to impose tariffs, something that Congress would normally sign off on. The president has said if the Supreme Court goes against him, it would lead to the ruination of the nation, arguing that the tariffs are needed for economic and national security. But with 6 of the 9 justices seeming sceptical that the president has the power, this case could go against him. An opinion from the court is expected in the coming weeks. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
The US State Department says that Taiwan must be allowed full and equal participation when China hosts the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum next year. Taipei complained that Beijing has added a lot of conditions to its attendance. Laura Westbrook reports from Hong Kong.
A US State Department spokesperson said that APEC members had agreed by consensus last year to China's offer to host APEC in 2026, and members remain committed to all members participating on an equal footing in all APEC events. The Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation is one of the only international bodies Taiwan is a member of. China claims self-ruled Taiwan as its own to be reunited by force if necessary. China will host the annual summit in Shenzhen next year, but relations between Taipei and Beijing have plummeted as the Chinese military have stepped up a pressure campaign against the island. China's foreign ministry said this week that Taiwan's participation in APEC activities must comply with the One China principle. Laura Westbrook, Hong Kong.
Elon Musk's satellite internet company Starlink has finally signed its first deal in India, with the country's richest state, Maharashtra, partnering with the company. The state government says it wants to bring satellite-based internet to remote and underserved regions. Ishan Garg reports from New Delhi.
Starlink's satellite technology could now soon connect government institutions, schools and healthcare facilities in remote districts. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis says partnership aligns with Maharashtra's Digital Maharashtra mission and supports Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Digital India push at the grassroots level. Starlink plans to set up 9 gateway stations across major Indian cities and deliver speeds up to 600 gigabytes per second. However, the final rollout remains subject to regulatory clearances from India's Department of Telecommunications. Ishan Garg, New Delhi.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, the Republicans licked their wounds after an absolute drubbing in off-year elections across the United States on Tuesday. Headlines were made by Zoran Mamdani, the new mayor of New York City, a self-described Democratic socialist, by Abigail Spanberger, the Democrat who won a landslide in Virginia's gubernatorial race, and Mikey Sherrill, who won big for the party in New Jersey. There were also wins in Ohio, Georgia and California. So was this a wake-up call for President Trump? Political analyst Willie Laura, former head of CNN Espanol, is a Republican political commentator who thinks so.
How are we going to play this game has to be the question for them. But 2026 and 2028, do we bring up candidates that represent the MAGA movement instead of some of the old Republicans type of candidates? What's happening right now is that the Democratic Party, the actual leadership right now is a DSA, is the Democratic Socialists of America. Those are the people that are going to control the narrative on the next elections. The Republican needs to understand that they need to pair up. They need to bring candidates that represent that wing of the party to be competitive.
In other words, he says the Republicans should double down on Donald Trump's brand of politics and heed the arguments of men like the president's former advisor, Steve Bannon. He said on Wednesday there's been too much focus on foreign policy and not enough attention paid to the economy and the cost of living by the White House. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. The US Supreme Court appeared skeptical of President Donald Trump's power to unilaterally impose tariffs during a 3-hour hearing. The US State Department says that Taiwan must be allowed full and equal participation when China hosts the APEC forum next year. Elon Musk's satellite internet company Starlink has finally signed its first deal in India. And that is the latest feature story news. Rebecca Bunton reporting.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Do you have a claim and not sure where to turn? Coastal Claim Consultants are professionally licensed and bonded public insurance adjusters employed exclusively by you, the policyholder, to represent you after sustaining an insured loss. They assist policyholders in all aspects of processing the claim, working closely with the insured to provide the most equitable and timely settlement possible. They will provide you with comprehensive service, anything from inspecting the loss site, analyzing damages, compiling claim support data, reviewing applicable coverages, assessing replacement costs of damages, and negotiating your settlement. The adjusters at Coastal Claim Consultants will evaluate your claim for no upfront cost whatsoever. Coastal Claim Consultants' fee is based on contingency contracts and are paid when the insurance company sends you a check and it's in your possession. Coastal Claim Consultants are licensed to assist you in the following states: Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, Georgia, and South Carolina. For more information, go to coastal-cc.com. That's coastal-cc.com. For more information, lighting the way to recovery. Coastal Claim Consultants.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it. This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected. Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author Jay Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
We're the only
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
We're the only show broadcasting live from a place where coffee counts as a food group.
Oh, yes, food groups do matter to some people. I don't know if the coffee section does fall into that factor, but hey, we are there right now, so that's
We're the only show.
Well, we're just going to repeat the same thing over and over again. So I guess we're the only thing that matters when it comes to that standpoint is what it's starting to sound like. So there you go, 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. I was almost going to say whatever day of the week it is. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the multiverse because that is what is going on. Not sometimes, but all the times. At least it feels that way. So as you do understand, or hopefully you do understand, we hang out here and we do all kinds of interesting stuff, always looking for the next bit of information where we can be there to, I guess, take a look and be able to help you. So I think that that's what we're looking for.
A positive mental attitude can clear away all obstacles which stand between you and your major purpose in life.
Actions, not mere words, determine the validity of a man's living philosophy.
But the other lesson of life that is rarely mastered is the art of fulfillment.
Okay, so I don't know what exactly we're going to be doing helping you fulfill anything here, but hey, that's kind of what we do. We talk a little bit about everything that is going on inside of the world of the multiverse because that is what we do. We are always constantly trying to look for stuff where we can help out, do our thing, and so on. I mean, why would we do anything else if you start taking a look around? So we're here for help. I don't know if it's exactly self-help, but it's a version of helping when it's all said and done. At least that is the way that I normally take a look at it. How do you look at it? So I'm just kind of wondering on, what's going on. So if you need one, here it is. It's Thursday, so every Thursday, we'll talk about this. But today, before the world starts theirs, let's talk about this. Start your day before the world does anything else with the first 20 minutes of your morning to set the tone of your entire day, Robin said. So let's see. This is Robin Sharma, author of 5 a.m. Club. Robin said that even if you're waking up 30 minutes earlier can help you plan, reflect, or even breathe before the life starts demanding things from you. So those are some things to do, I guess, first thing in the morning, if that's something you're interested in, of course, as we are talking. So let's continue talking about some other stuff. There's some things to talk about today, and of course, we always go through some news of the weird. So don't worry, because we're not going to get away from that this morning. So let's start off with Oreo unveiled Thanksgiving-inspired cookies, and I'm not joking as I say this morning. Oreo is skipping the turkey baster and baster and diving the fork right into Thanksgiving with the new Thanksgiving dinner-inspired cookie collection. And yes, one of the flavors is actually turkey and gravy. The limited edition release includes 6 holiday themes flavors: turkey and gravy, sweet potato, cream corn, apple caramel pie, pumpkin pie, and cranberry sauce. Each cookie is fudge covered and comes with nostalgic collection of 10 with 12 cookies total, 2 of each flavor. The set dropped on October the 29th exclusively on Oreo.com for $19.99. It's part of Oreo's ongoing test and learn flavor experiment following this year's Horacha inspired collab with Selena Gomez, the return of the blueberry pie Oreos, and a double team with Reese's Pieces, or with Reese's, better saying, on the peanut butter filled one. So there you go. So Oreo said, let's make cookies that divide families faster than politics. Sweet potato and cream corn collab. No one asked for this, but everyone's morbidly curious about it, no doubt there. Turkey and gravy Oreos, perfect for the people who think pumpkin spice is a little bit too normal. Somewhere the pilgrims are looking down and saying, we didn't cross the ocean for this. Oreos just invented the world's first cookie that pairs with mashed potatoes and sweet potato Oreo. Sure. Creamed corn? That's just a cry for help when it's all said and done, when you start thinking about it. But hey, I always say it this way. There has to be a demand for it, or there always seems to be an audience for these things as we are talking, because no one else is requesting these things. But geez, man, somebody's putting them out there for a reason. I mean, think about it. Is this something that you would spend your $19.99 on just to make sure that you could get it? I don't know. I mean, I'm asking you the question because I know nothing about nothing. At least that's what I'm told. I know nothing about nothing. So a lot of stuff always going on inside of the world of the multiverse. How do you feel about this? Is this something that you would consider doing? Is this something that you would say, okay, let's get into this, because it is something that I would be interested, maybe even a little bit morbidly curious to try. I don't know. Me personally, I think it's kind of disgusting sounding, but that's just my opinion.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Okay, so infiltration, radio big, always the stuff that we get to talk about. Anyways, take a listen to this real quick. Baby Center releases the most popular baby names for 2025. See what names made the list. Baby Center has released a 2025 list with the most popular baby names for the second year in a row, and Noah and Olivia reign supreme. For boys, Liam, Oliver, and Elijah round up the top 5, while Amelia, Sophia, and Emma lead the girls' side. Newcomers made it too. It was Elena and Aurora broke the top 10 for girls, pushing out celestial favorites such as Ava and Luna. The boys' side has Luca made its debut, bumping out Leo. The naming trend shows a blend of vintage charm, country flair, and pop culture influences. Country-inspired names like Rose, Miley, and Austin rose in popularity thanks to Beyonce's Cowboy Carter era. The Y2K nostalgia also played a fact with Nick, Lance, and Howie. Yeah, hello, Backstreet Boys. Trending again. TV and movie fans said that their kids' characters based off of The White Lotus, The Pit, Severance, and The Summer. I Turned Pretty. Sports had the impact too, with Oklahoma City Thunder's names such as Jalen, Isaiah, and Dylan. The WNBA stars Kelsey, Courtney, and Natasha gaining traction. Classic literature also made a comeback with names like Sawyer, Finn, Holden seeing a new life. Meanwhile, some names that took the dive, Blake and Justin, dropped significantly. Baby Center is noting that parents are avoiding names that are linked to scandals ending with Y, like Vinny, Grady, and Cody are also fading fast. Roman Himentel, Baby Center's editorial director, said that 2025 marks the generation of beta pop culture from TikTok TV, also shaping how parents name their children. I don't know. I mean, I will tell you, around in this household, when I have had the privilege of naming children, it's always a cluster because I don't go through a name list and say, oh, this sounds like an excellent idea of what the name should be. I mean, I don't do it that way. So how is the decision made in your household? That's always an interesting one to come up with, because who sits around all day and says, oh, my name is this, and I got a list. I mean, that's the only other way that I can think about it. But let's get out of the naming conventions, because this might get us in trouble. I'm sure that some people are already sitting here going, where's the hard news? So let's talk about some hard news stuff. The Supreme Court just heard major case of President Trump through the use of emergency powers to impose a sweeping tariffs on foreign imports. Duh. And even the conservative justices seemed uneasy on how about the authorities might take a look at this. Trump used International Emergency Economic Powers, IEEPA, to apply a 10% base tariff plus another 10% on China for fentanyl trafficking. The administration says that those moves have already raised about $90 billion and could top $1 trillion if the case drags on. But the justices from both sides of the aisles grilled the government lawyers, Solicitor General Jen Sauer, questioning whether the 1977 law really gives the president power of unilateral tax imports, especially since the word tariff never appears in the statute. The justice warns that Congress may have permanently handed over too much power to the executive branch. Chief Justice Roberts echoed concerns that tariffs authorities is a core power of Congress, while Justice Jackson argued that the IEEPA and designed to limit presidential power, not expanded. On the other side, Justice Alito and Thomas backed Trump's argument, saying that the national emergencies, even short of war, might justify such tariffs. The other justices questioned whether it made sense for a president to have power to halt trade completely, but not impose small duties. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about as we are hanging out. Okay, take a listen to this one if you're kind of into the space race stuff. 3 Chinese astronauts on a mission are stuck in orbit a little longer than planned after their spacecraft was apparently hit by a small piece of space debris. Their return to Earth, originally was set for yesterday, has been delayed to an unexpected date, according to the China State Broadcast CCTV, which didn't provide details on the extent of the damage or safety concerns. The crew commander, Chen Dong, and some other people that are on there, the other 2, launched in April for 6-month stay aboard the Taigong space station. The replacement aboard the Shangsu 21 already arrived and successfully docked over the weekend, but now the outgoing team will have to wait until the mission control gives the all clear to go ahead and get back. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about as we are hanging. So you are aware that we are in the month of November. So we need to start talking about holiday travel mayhem as thousands of flights to be canceled at airports across the country due to shutdown. The Federal Aviation Administration, also known as the FAA, is taking drastic action ahead of the holiday travel rush, slashing air traffic by 10% across 40 major U.S. markets, which will affect thousands of flights each day. The decision comes after weeks of massive delays triggered by 36-day government shutdown, which has left 13,000 air traffic controllers and 50,000 TSA agents working without pay. Staffing shortages and call-outs have already caused flight delays of up to 7 hours at 17 major airports, including New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Atlanta, Miami, Houston, San Francisco, Boston, and Washington, D.C. The FAA administrator, Brian Bedford, said the move was a necessity to maintain safety amid the mounting strain on the system. We cannot ignore it, he said, noting that the agency won't wait for a crisis to act. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy confirmed that he'll meet with airlines executives to finalize the implement of the reduction warning that shutdowns continue mass chaos could hit the skies, possibly forcing U.S. airface to close. So some things to think about as we are talking, because things will probably, like always, get weird before they get norm, because why would you expect it to be any way different than that? Because that is the way that things go from time to time. So there you go. What else do we got going on real quick? We got always some kind of interesting stuff that we get to report on, because I'm not even sure what exactly we're doing half the time. So, do we want to talk about some miscellaneous AI creeping into the dating world? Well, let's do that, because I think that that's going to be important. There's a new twist. The new online dating world. Singles are using AI to flirt for them. Seriously, chatbots are writing pickup lines, crafting replies, and even carrying full conversation on dating apps. Some say it's efficient. Others call it emotionally catfishing. Either way, if that Tinder match sounds too witty to be real, maybe they're not real. It's just your chat box hanging out, giving you some stuff. Maybe some things to think about if you're inside of the dating world. So should we talk about this? Yeah, let's talk about it, because oddities are the way that we do stuff. A Delta passenger says their 5.5-hour flight from Florida to Los Angeles turned into a nightmare after being seated next to a man who allegedly soiled himself mid-flight. In a now viral Reddit post titled 5.5-hour flight next to a human biohazard, the traveler described the ordeal in a stomach-turning detail, claiming there was literally poop smears on the seat and on him. The older passenger reportedly had serious mobility issues, leaving the Redditor window seat prisoned for the entire trip. Flight attendants repeatedly checked on the man, but the odor persisted. When the plane landed, the true mess became visible, prompting the passenger to write, "I needed an exorcism." Delta later apologized, offering 5,000 Sky Miles and a heartfelt apology for failing to provide their usual standard of service. The passenger appreciated the gesture, but joked that they probably deserved therapy and several showers instead. Is probably the way to go about some of this stuff. So 5.5 hours next to a human biohazard, that's not a flight. That's a fear factor reboot, just in case. Delta gave 5,000 miles for the ordeal. They should have thrown a priest, a hazmat suit, and maybe a new identity. And that's not Delta Comfort Plus. That's Delta Contamination Premium. The passenger said that they needed an exorcism. Honestly, even the plane needed a holy water when it was all said and done. And imagine boarding thinking that you're getting extra leg room and find out that you're in the splash zone. 5 hours trapped by a poop-covered stranger. That's not turbulence. That is trauma.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
I don't know if I'm going to go as far as saying that this is entertaining, but it's definitely something to talk about as we are looking at everything that is going on. So why don't we do this? Let's talk about things kids learn from cartoons.
It's time for Things Kids Learn from Cartoons.
But who cares? You should never be afraid to be different.
Whom.
That's it for Things Kids Learn from Cartoons.
Okay, so there you go. That's some stuff that we get to learn, no doubt about that, as we are hanging out on this lovely Thursday, 30 minutes into the thing, as we are going through everything that is going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Anyway, take a listen to this. Iowa judge accused of drinking and driving or driving drunk, however you want to look at it. Iowa's top judge of the Second Judicial District, Adria Keister, was arrested and charged with operating while intoxicated after being found unconscious in her truck, which was drifting the wrong way on Highway 30 near Boone. A bystander had to climb through the back of the window of her GMC Canyon Denali to stop the vehicle. Deputies say that they found a cup smelling like alcohol inside, and Keister showed signs of intoxication, including slurred speech and bloodshot eyes. The 55-year-old judge refused to answer questions or take a field sobriety test, so police ordered a hospital blood draw. She has been booked into jail and released later that morning. Because she oversees so many courts and employees, her case had to be reassigned to a different district and an independent prosecutor. Keister appeared in court the next day, declined the court-appointed lawyer, and was ordered to undergo substance abuse evaluation. Her arraignment is set for December the 22nd, and she could face jail time, fines, and a suspended license if convicted. Her lawyer said that she's taking matters seriously and cooperating, though ironically, he also is one of Iowa's top DUI defense attorneys. So there you go. She went from judging cases to being one. Nothing like chief judge giving herself time served before the trial even starts. She always wanted to see things from the other side of the bench. Mission accomplished. And her gavel wasn't the only thing hammered that night, if you get my drift.
You're being infiltrated. Radio Big.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh yeah, main story time. Always time to hang out, do our thing as we do everything here inside of this multiverse. But it is main story time, so let's start talking about a lot of stuff. I will tell you, I am going to use this term because, you know, it is a term that is used. There's also a podcast that is a very similar name that's out there. I'm definitely interested in interviewing the lady that's on there, but that's a whole other story. So let's talk about the safety illusion. And the show that I'm talking about is called The Illusion of Safety, but we'll leave it for that. So I want you to think about this. I want you to picture this. I want you to think that it's Monday morning, which is, statistically speaking, is the most dangerous day of the week. Remember that you hate your job. At least that's what most people say. You know, do you have a case of the Mondays? Or they're talking about the whole weekend, how it sucks that Monday's almost here. So you walk into work, you grab your coffee, and there it is again. The safety board. You know the one that I'm talking about. The board that probably declares we have gone
137 days without an incident.
Yeah, that's 137 days without any incident whatsoever. And of course, everyone in the room collectively rolls their eyes because we all know the number is about as honest as a politician during election week. But here's the kicker. The numbers look good. The boss loves it. The regional director loves it. The shareholders love it. And that all that matters, right? I mean, that's the only thing that matters. But as long as the illusion of safety looks spotless, we're good. Except that's not safety. That's theater. And it's in theater that everyone is an unpaid actor trying to survive the performances. You know what I'm talking about. We're not talking anything out of left field or something that you haven't seen. You see, somewhere along the line, we replace learning with looking good. We took something that was supposed to be about people, real, messy, unpredictable people, and turned it into spreadsheet with smiley faces and green boxes. And you know what else we got on top of it? We got zero harm posters in the hallway. Safety is our number one priority. Stickers on the forklifts and safety moments is the start of every meeting. But let's be honest, none of those stop the system from chewing people up when the pressure hits. You can have all the banners, all the slogans, and all the consultants you want. It's the system that punishes honesty. If the system punishes honesty, you'll never get the truth. You'll just get silence. And the silence doesn't mean safety, it means fear. It means your people are watching the same show you are, but they're scared to interrupt the script. Think about it. This happens all the time inside of workplaces. Here's what nobody wants to say out loud. The illusion feels safer than the reality, because reality is messy. It means that confronting that our system aren't perfect, our policies don't always make sense, and our people don't always behave the way that our training manuals say that they will, it means that leadership has to listen instead of dictating. It means that metrics might actually get worse before they get better. And that's terrifying. If your bonus is tied to those numbers, you know you got a problem. But pretending that, it doesn't prevent harm, it just buries it. It happens every day inside of workplaces. I was talking to someone recently who said, we just want everyone to get home safe every day. Nice settlement, noble. But that's not a plan. That's a wish. And maybe that's part of the discussion. Getting people home safe isn't about luck or wishful thinking or pep talks at a toolbox talk meeting. It's about understanding why things go right most of the time, not just why they go wrong once in a while. It's about the system that flexes, not breaks. It's about supervisors who coach instead of control. And it's about people who can speak up without fearing that tomorrow's zero becomes their fault. You know what I'm talking about? The zero. We can't lose the zero. Let me ask you about this. What's more valuable? A spotless safety record that hides hundreds of near misses, or a messy one that tells us the truth? One makes your executives feel comfortable, and the other one helps your people stay alive. The illusion of safety lets us all feel like we're doing something. The reality of safety forces us to change something. So maybe the next time you walk that safety board, that board that talks about everything, instead of counting the days since the last incident, you ask a different question. How many times this week did we learn something new? How many times did someone speak up and not get shut down? How many systems got adjusted because a worker said, hey, this doesn't make sense? Because those are real metrics that matter, not the number of days since someone got hurt, but the numbers of moments since we stopped pretending. So the illusion of safety, it's comfortable. Reality is uncomfortable, but where progress lives. So if your safety programs looks perfect on paper, maybe it's time to wrinkle it a little bit, because no one gets better by staying flat. Think about that. No one gets better by staying flat. That's F-L-A-T. Don't want anybody to get confused on what I'm saying.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out, the one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' best life insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
The heavenly wish for death tongue. Some big simulation. Now I know that we are all just digital information. A fake world for the taking. I'm looking at the news and it's kind of hard to watch it. The universe is way too big to have one God who trust a God who's smart enough to build the planet. Cause I'm smart enough to know there's a snake in the apple, and the smartest people here, they know it's a fake world. Fake world.
Oh, yes, 44 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. Hour numero uno of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. This one right here, I have titled it A Simulated World. Songs not available anywhere. It's the stuff that we've been building in-house.
So you're probably better off asleep.
Yep, some stuff always going on inside of the multiverse.
It's not as bad as it's
okay. It's a fake world. Okay. So, thank you. thank you for this little song. But I don't know, should I thank? I mean, it's kind of weird. Am I thanking myself? I guess it kind of feels that way. Listen. Okay, so a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. Always a good time as we are hanging. Okay, so I got two things, but let's start off with the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime first, and then we'll move back for a moment and talk about something else. Let me tell you about my friends at To Write Love on Our Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. We want you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Once we kind of go over that information, let's explain. If you go to this website, it can change everything for you because there's so much information that's on there. So much information that's there related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. So once you get there, TWLOHA.com, go all the way to the far right-hand side and click on the section that says Find Help. All of this information will be readily available for you. And even if it's something that you go, well, that's not really for me, it could be something that could help change your life. No doubt about that. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Okay, so I told you earlier in the week that I might have some information for you. And I am going to share a save the date for the moment. So I am going to tell this to all of my Canadian friends. If you would like to take a listen to this, we haven't done this in a while, so let's talk about this. January the 28th and 29th. I will tell you that if you have the opportunity, I would love for you to come and hang out with us. We will be hanging out in Vancouver, January 28th and 29th of 2026. I don't have the full details of everything yet, but I will just tell you this. Save the date. I'll have some more information up. I thought I would have some more earlier in the week, but we'll do this. We're going to call this one Hop Into Action Vancouver. Hop Into Action Vancouver. That'll be January the 28th and the 29th in Vancouver of 2026. So get ready. Hold the date. We'll put some stuff up on our site just to talk about it, and that way you can see some of the things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So that's the 28th and 29th of January in Vancouver. I'll give you a full lineup hopefully shortly about what the hell is going on. And we're going to call this one Hop Into Action 2026 Vancouver. So there you go. Always some interesting times as we are going to be able to hang out and talk a little bit about this, a little bit about that, and all of that fun stuff. Let's talk about some more information of the weird. So let's talk about this. Maine's largest healthcare provider, Maine Health, accidentally sent letters. Yes, sent letters of condolences to more than 500 patients, informing their families of their supposed deaths. The mix-up happened on October the 20th when a computer system error triggered an automatic mailing to estate vendors notices to 531 people. Officials quickly apologized, saying Men's Health sincerely regrets the error and confirmed that no medical records actually listed the patients as deceased. The glitch has since then been fixed to prevent Maine Health, before a repeat for Maine Health not to occur, of course, which runs the hospitals and employs over 20,000 staff across Maine and New Hampshire. So, called it an unfortunate technical malfunction, though it certainly gave hundreds of people a very awkward surprise. Talk about a near-death experience, and all you did was open an email. Nothing like getting a letter that says you're dead to really ruin your morning coffee. If you've ever needed proof that hospital paperwork can kill you, there it is. Well, that's one of those things that you find that if you're behind on your will, this will get you moving. And the good news, you're alive. The bad news, your insurance company might not believe you. And some people get junk mail, others get death mail. I guess that's kind of a turn of events when you start taking a look at that. Can you imagine opening that thing up and going, oh yeah, hold on, what do you mean? I just got a letter in the mail that says you're dead.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so talk about some weird stuff. Weird stuff. Do you ever get into somebody's car and you know that there's kind of an odor? Not a good odor, not a bad odor, just an odor. It could be a good odor, a bad odor, I mean, whatever. But a study found that the scent of leather mixed with subtle vanilla increased perceived competence by 28%. It's a masculine without being aggressive, like James Bond meets Febreze. But people will trust you more if your car smells like that. Your competence goes up by 28% because of a smell. Boy, do things get weird from time to time. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Taylor. Helen Keller said, "Life is either a great adventure or nothing at all." It amazes me the life that Helen Keller lived. What an amazing outlook. Like this quote, life is either a great adventure or nothing at all. Helen Keller would know what nothing at all would be like. Imagine how easy it would have been for the world to let her live that life. Instead, she found the right people to help her live the adventure. Have you found the right people to put adventure in your life? Instead of looking for them, you should look to be someone who puts adventure into the life of someone else. Find little ways to be the one who makes their life better.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Former Vice President Dick Cheney has died at the age of 84.
Cheney, who served under President George W. Bush, held significant influence over U.S. foreign policy, especially during the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. His family released a statement saying he passed peacefully at his Wyoming home after a history of heart disease. Tributes and reflections on his controversial legacy are being shared by politicians and the public alike. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Rescue teams in Nepal are searching for climbers after a deadly avalanche struck Mount Yalungri.
At least 7 climbers lost their lives when the avalanche swept through their campsite. Efforts are ongoing to recover the bodies, and the remote mountainous conditions are making the operation extremely challenging. Authorities have urged local hikers to avoid the area as unstable snow and ice pose further risks. Benjamin Wright reporting.
A powerful earthquake in northern Afghanistan has forced survivors to spend the night in the open after many homes were destroyed.
The quake also caused extensive damage to a historic site, increasing anxiety among residents about the loss of cultural heritage. Emergency teams are distributing aid, but delays have left many without shelter as aftershocks continue. Authorities warn that the full extent of the damage is still being assessed, with new reports of injuries expected. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
Australian intelligence officials have publicly accused Chinese agencies of widespread intellectual property theft and interference.
The Australian spy chief stated that Chinese operatives have attempted to access sensitive governmental data and influence political decisions in recent years. Diplomatic tensions have risen, and the Australian government is considering additional cybersecurity measures. China has denied the allegations and called for stronger bilateral dialogue to resolve the dispute. Chris Anderson reporting.
The partial government shutdown has now reached its 36th day, creating uncertainty for millions of Americans who depend on federal programs.
The Trump administration announced that only half of the usual food stamp benefits will be distributed for November due to limited contingency funds. Lawmakers remain gridlocked in Washington over funding proposals, while advocacy groups report rising food insecurity. As the shutdown continues, public frustration grows with each passing day. Kevin Sanders reporting.
The FBI announced it has foiled an alleged ISIS-inspired plot to attack a U.S. city during Halloween festivities last week.
Federal agents raided the suspect's home in Dearborn, Michigan, and seized multiple firearms and materials, which authorities say were intended for a large-scale attack. Neighbors in the community were shocked, and officials praised the swift law enforcement response. The suspects are facing federal charges, and further details will be released as the investigation unfolds. Kyle Norris reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Tearing the ass out of you like gas station sushi.
Okay, here we go. 55 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely dar. Okay, so let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2018, Great Britain's Prince Charles calls slavery an indelible stain, but stopped short of an apology in the speech in Ghana. So there you go. That happened back on this date, back in 2018. If you're looking at some birthdays for today, let's talk about that. Sally Fields turned 79. Maria Shriver turned 70. Laurie Singer turned 68. Lawrence Kerwin turned 65. Kelly Rutherford turns 57. Ethan Hawke turns 55. Thandie Newton turns 53. Rebecca Romaine turns 53. And Emma Stone turns 37. So there you go. Some birthdays going on today. Let's talk about things you ought to know. Let's talk about this. Some people will care about this. NFL tonight, the Raiders take on the Broncos at 8:15 Eastern time. Catch the game on Prime Video. In total, the World Series drew approximately 238 million viewers around the world, 34 million viewers per game. That's the largest World Series audience since 1992. It's a massive 19% jump from last year. R.I.P. Teen Vogue, or at least Teen Vogue as we know it and love it. Vogue announced that on November the 3rd, the 22-year-old offshoot would be folded into the flagship brand's website, laying off 70% of its staff, including editors and chief Varsha Sharma. The magazine launched in 2003 as a young sister to Vogue, originally focusing on fashion, celebrity in the mid-2010s. Teen Vogue rebranded as politically aware and socially engaged platform empowering young activists and their perspectives as social justice. So there you go. Also, Congresswoman Mayor Daley Green is reportedly eyeing a 2028 presidential run, according to 4 sources who spoke to NOTUS. Green has been telling colleagues that she believes that she's the true embodiment of MAGA movement, claiming that others have drifted from the president's original vision. She's confident that she could raise the funds needed, and saying that she's already has a national donor network strong enough to win the Republican primary when she was asked by it for the Daily Mail. So there you go. Some stuff to think about as we are talking. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. Thanks for hanging out with me on this lovely Thursday. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. If you don't, you can stay here with the likes of Sheldon Primus on Safety FM as he talks about the world of safety consulting. If I can't leave you with something for today, here's a bit of advice. Replace I should with I choose to. The brain listens and it changes how you follow through. Think about that for a moment. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios. as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.